Well, finally, Sonos have released a new pair of headphones. So the Sonos Ace, as you can see there, and it's actually quite surprising that it's taken them this long to release a pair of headphones. And if you guys know about Sonos, they've been in the audio game for a very long period of time. Great speakers, great surround sound, all that kind of stuff, and some really cool technology as well, which I really love about Sonos. I use them in the studio, I use them at home, so this is a very much welcomed added product. And right off the bat, it looks good, it sounds good, and it's got all the Sonos quirk to it as well, which we'll talk about in this video. So stick around and let's talk about it. In true Sonos fashion, it comes in a great, simple, minimalist packaging that's very straightforward to get into. You get a case in the box, which is really good. The case has a nice soft finishing on the outside, nice Sonos logo embossed on the case as well. Nice and subtle, which I quite like. And then you open it up, you are greeted with a pair of headphones in there, so the Sonos Ace, and there's also a pouch in there as well. That pouch can be used to store your USB-C cable, which also comes with it, and so a USB-C to USB-C cable. And there's also a 3.5mm headphone jack in there as well to USB-C, so that way you can connect it to devices that doesn't have Bluetooth connectivity, or if you just want extra, you can do so. So that little pouch is not stationary in there, so it moves around, so you can take it out if you don't want it at all, or store it separately if you wish to do so. Then we go on to the headphones themselves. Let's talk about the design. It's just really nice and minimalist. It's subtle. I love the finishing on this. It's got this nice matte finishing. It's available in white, and it's also available in black as well. We've got the white version here. Talking about the headband, it's got a nice soft foam finishing on top of the headband, so that will sit nice and comfortably well on top of your head, and it's flexible as well, so this will fit nicely on most head sizes, to be honest. And you don't get this excessive clamping as well, so when you put it on top of your head, it doesn't kind of like squeeze your head. It's nice and comfortable on top of your head. And the ear cups themselves, they're finished in vegan leather finishing, and underneath that is memory foam, so again, nice and soft and comfortable. And you can actually easily detach those little cover as well. It's got different colors for the right side and left side. So the right side on this one is green finishing, which is pretty cool. It's got the R written on there as well, just in case you missed that. And this stainless steel yoke looks really nice as well. I think it just suits the whole look of the pair of headphones, which I quite like. And like I said already, you get the Sonos branding on the right, on the right ear cup, which looks nice and subtle as well. The only time you really notice it when it shimmers against lights, then you see the reflection on there. This is not a touchpad, so there's no touch finishing or anything like that. You have a 40mm driver, which sounds amazing, and it fits really well. The ear cups fits really nicely well on top of my ears. Even with my studs, which I wear studs, it just sits well. It's not uncomfortable at all. I can wear it for a long period of time, no issues there at all. It doesn't get too hot as well. Obviously, over here, headphones can get hot over time, but it doesn't give me that experience. So the only time I feel anything is when I take it to the gym and I run with it. Then obviously it gets hot, I run, all that stuff, then you start to feel it. There are a few buttons on there as well, so like I said, there's no touch control on the ear cups, which I quite like. I love that there are physical buttons on here. So on the left side we have the power button and the pairing button all in one, so you press and hold it to put it into pairing mode, and you got your USB-C port. And then on the right side there's one button for your active noise cancellation and awareness, which I'm giving away what it's got there in terms of features. And then also there's a toggle there which is used for volume controls. This is called a content control, so you can use that for volume control. You can use it for things like changing track. You can use it for also ending and receiving phone calls, for example. And this has also got a feature where you can take it off your head and put it down, and it knows that you've taken it off. It's got sensors for that, which is really good. The ear cups as well has this vegan leather finishing, like I said already, with anti-fingerprint. So again, it just makes it nicer, and it doesn't look tarty over time and stuff like when you're taking it on and off with maybe sweaty fingers or whatnot. This doesn't have that oversized look that the AirPods Max have. This is much better looking, I think, much more subtle compared to some of the competitors on the market today. As far as some of the features goes, I've already mentioned these are 40mm drivers, so you get really good sound quality out of this, which I quite like. It supports lossless audio as well with Snapdragon aptX lossless, as well as Apple's ALAC, so you get that really good sound quality if you're using compatible sound sources like Tidal and stuff like that. So it sounds really good. You've got spatial audio as well with dynamic head tracking, which again, great addition to have on here, which is something that I've become accustomed to using, and I'm enjoying using that, so I'm glad that they've included it there. There's no Auracast on here or LE just yet, because Sonos says actually people aren't really using that yet. It's not a wider used feature yet, so they're keeping an eye on that. And if that becomes something that becomes really useful, they might start to include that in upcoming or the next generation and stuff like that. Although some people think this should be something that will connect via Wi-Fi to connect or hook up to the rest of your Sonos system, this does not allow you to do that. Although it does have Wi-Fi chip in there actually, which is basically used for other purposes besides connecting to your Sonos sound system. We'll talk about that more down the line. This will give you 30 hours of battery use with Bluetooth and active noise cancellation on, which is 10 hours more than the AirPods Max. So this will give you a really good time in terms of using this on the go. It's got fast charge as well. I believe 3 minutes of charge will give you 3 hours of use. 3 minutes of charge. If you put that into perspective, just quickly plug it in before you leave the house, and that will give you a whole journey of usage on here, like a short haul flight. You'll be able to fly to Barcelona from London and back on that single 3 minutes charge, which is incredible. Of course, this won't be a Sonos product without having those Sonos quirk that I talked about at the start of the video. So this has something called TV swap and also true cinema calibration. So with the first one, the true cinema calibration will come later on, so it's not quite available yet. So that'll be interesting to actually test that out and see how that goes. But the TV swap basically allows you to connect this to your Sonos ARC system. So for now, it's going to be ARC. Later on, they're gonna make this compatible with the Sonos Beam Gen 1 and Gen 2, and it's not going to be compatible with like your Play Bar and stuff like that. Unfortunately, the older line, it won't be compatible with those. It'll work with the Ray, Sonos Ray as well. So those will be really good. With TV swap, it just means privacy. So if you are in a household where you don't want people to hear what you're watching on TV, maybe people have gone to sleep, you don't want to disturb them, you'll be able to use this to listen to your TV experience in a nice surround sound environment sort of experience. So you get that sort of same feeling you get when you're set up at home with your ARC and other speakers. You get that in this one unit just by pressing a button on the Sonos app, or you can press and hold the content button here, and that will swap as well, do the TV swap for you, which is kind of incredible actually that they're able to do that. But I like that they've done that, because you know what, that puts it ahead of everyone else in terms of what this can actually do. With true cinema calibration, which is coming very soon, it means you can tailor your acoustics to your room. So you can switch between standard and true cinema experience. But true cinema means you get this spacious, immersive sound system that's beyond just your standard stereo. I know we have 30 hours of battery life on here, but when you use the Sonos ARC TV swap situation, which uses Wi-Fi, by the way, that's built into this, it just means the battery will drain a lot quicker. But Sonos say you'll be able to watch movies for 2 days, 2 nights rather, without needing to charge it just yet. But again, it's got fast charge, so you can just charge it when you go to sleep, and then when you wake up, it's good to go again for a whole lot of TV watching session, basically. It has 8 microphones, so 4 on each ear cups, and that's used for your active noise cancellation and for your phone calls. And having used this for phone calls, it sounds really clear. Both the other end and my end can hear very clearly with no issues at all. I know people always ask me about phone calls. This is definitely good for doing that. So whether it's conference calls or whatever you want to use this for, this makes a great daily use for that sort of purpose. So with all that said, how does it actually perform in terms of the sound quality? And right off the bat, it's a Sonos product. So I don't know what you probably expect if you've used one before or haven't used one before, but with Sonos products, they are good with audio. So these is no exception. So when it comes to the samples I was listening to, whether it's podcasts, the voice clarity was really good. That it's just nice and crisp and just clear. And then Sonos provided some sample audios that you can use to test it, but I decided to go off piste and tried Michael Jackson Thriller using this, and you can just hear the steps from one side to the other at the start of the music when he does the footstep across the room. You can just hear that walk across from one side to the other using that spatial audio and Dolby Atmos. It just sounds so amazing, and the bass kicks in and it's just really nice. So you can hear the voice separation from the other instruments in the song, so you can hear everything so clearly. There's a tune that also played with Billie Eilish, which you can hear her just breathing, the breathing technique that she uses in the song. You can just hear every detail coming through, and it just sounds amazing. Like the soundstage is just so good that it's just a joy to use when it comes to sound quality. And the bass is not overpowering, the trebles, the mids, is just nicely tuned to make this sound really good. The TV swap stuff works really well as well, which means watching TV, whether it's watching Game of Thrones or whatever, with so many sound effects, you can just hear everything in detail with the lag there is just not perceivable. You can't perceive the lag. The latency, it's so good that you can't even perceive it. So that's a bonus there as well. But overall though, I think this does a really good job at looking good, sounding good, and it has all that Sonos quirk. If you already have that Sonos ecosystem, this works really well. Besides the fact that you can't connect via Wi-Fi and have that full experience. Maybe something that can change in the future, who knows? But again, it has lossless audio. It has basically all the recipe to be a really good pair of headphones to consider on the market today. This will cost you £449 here in the UK at launch. If that will go down later on, I don't know. But for £449, I think you are getting a really good sound quality here. I think it's a really good, it's correctly, in my opinion, correctly priced. It's a flagship product, and it's something that you will use for a long period of time and actually really enjoy. So I have no really faults to say about it, besides no Auracast, for example. That's something I'm looking forward to. Is the next level in the world of audio. I've used it before, and it's something that's fantastic. So it's a shame that that's not there just yet. But yeah, overall, really good. Things like swapping between two devices as well, you can do that. So you can connect this to two different audio sources, and it's always connected, and it's easy to just switch between two devices seamlessly. You can turn that off in the app as well if you don't want to have that. You can turn off things like spatial audio if you don't want to have that. You can control your what happens to the buttons in terms of awareness level and active noise cancellation level. And speaking on that, that brings me to active noise cancellation levels. I think it's decent. It's not the best I've heard in comparison to some of the like Bose noise cancellation. I think it's still decent, but I've used it around London and those noisy areas, and you can still hear some noise in the background here and there, but you can notice the difference when you switch it on or off. Awareness is good as well, and that's really great to have in general, especially when you want to still be aware of what's going on around you. So there's probably some couple of negatives there that I could say, but overall, I think all the pros definitely outweighs the cons for you to consider this as your next pair of headphones. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this, let me know as well, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.